After my father-in-law's funeral, my jobless wife inherited $379 million. Suddenly, she demanded a divorce, saying, "You're useless to me now." I replied, "Don't regret this later, LOL. After the divorce, my father-in-law's lawyer burst into laughter at my ex-wife and said, "Have you read the will carefully?" The coffin was still warm from the sun when my wife whispered the words that ended our marriage. "Sign the divorce papers." No tears, no hesitation, just cold efficiency. We were standing beside the fresh soil of her father's grave. Black umbrellas, silent mourners, the smell of wet flowers and expensive perfume floating through the air. Her father had been buried 20 minutes earlier, and already she was erasing me. I stared at her. Not surprised, not angry, just tired. A year ago, I would have laughed at the absurdity, but grief exposes people, and money exposes monsters. She crossed her arms, looking down at me like I was something stuck to her shoe. "You heard the lawyer," she said quietly. $379 million. Her eyes glowed, not with sadness, with hunger. "You were useful when I had nothing," she continued. "But now," a small shrug, "you're useless to me." Around us, relatives pretended not to listen, but they were listening. Everyone listens when money is involved. I studied her face, the same face I had kissed thousands of times. Strange how quickly love can rot. "Divorce," she repeated. "Immediately." I nodded slowly. Then I smiled. A quiet smile, the kind that makes people uncomfortable. "Don't regret this later." I paused. Lol. Her expression tightened. She thought I was bluffing. She had no idea how long I had been waiting for this moment. The funeral ended, but the performance had just begun. 3 days later, she filed for divorce. Fast, efficient, ruthless. She moved out that same week into a glass mansion overlooking the river. New car, new wardrobe, new friends. Money attracts parasites, but she didn't notice. She was too busy celebrating freedom. I watched quietly, from a distance, because this story didn't start with the inheritance. It started 2 years earlier, when her father, the old man everyone feared, called me into his study late one night. He looked sick, smaller than usual. Cancer had already started eating him from the inside. "I know what my daughter is," he said without emotion. His voice was gravel. Selfish. He slid a folder across the desk. Inside were photographs. My wife, with another man, hotel entrances, late-night dinners, a hand resting on her waist. I felt something cold spread through my chest. But the old man wasn't finished. "She thinks I don't know," he said. Then he looked directly into my eyes. "But you're different." A long silence. "You stayed loyal." I almost laughed. Loyalty is a strange thing. Sometimes it's love, sometimes it's patience, and sometimes it's strategy. He tapped the folder. "Play along," he said quietly, "until I die." After that night, everything changed. But nothing changed on the surface. I still smiled at her every morning, still cooked dinner, still pretended not to notice the late-night messages or the business trips. I became invisible, and invisibility is powerful. You hear everything, you see everything. People stop hiding when they think you're harmless. Meanwhile, the old man and I met in secret. Lawyers, documents, plans. Weeks turned into months. His health deteriorated, but his mind remained sharp. "I'm going to give her everything," he told me one night. I raised an eyebrow. He smiled faintly. "She'll think she won." That was the first time I realized how dangerous the old man truly was. Because wealth isn't power, control is, and control lives inside details. Meanwhile, my wife grew more careless. She stopped hiding her contempt. "You should try to make more money," she said once. "I'm not your charity project." I nodded politely. Inside, I was counting days. The cancer moved faster. The hospital visits increased. Lawyers began visiting the house regularly. My wife started acting sweet again. Fake sweetness, the kind people wear when money is involved. But the old man watched her with quiet amusement, like a chess player observing a pawn. Then one evening, as machines beeped softly beside his hospital bed, he gave me the final instruction. "Don't stop her," he whispered. "Let her divorce you." His lips curled into a thin smile. That's when the story becomes interesting. The divorce was finalized exactly 32 days after the funeral. She didn't even look at me in court, just signed the papers. Cold, efficient, like deleting an app. Outside the courthouse, reporters waited. Congratulations on the inheritance. Any comment about the divorce? She smiled beautifully for the cameras. The marriage had simply run its course. Of course it had. Money accelerates truth. A week later, the official reading of the will took place in a polished conference room. Mahogany table, tall windows, expensive silence. My ex-wife arrived glowing with confidence. Her new boyfriend sat beside her. Yes, the same man from the photographs. She didn't even try to hide it anymore. The lawyer adjusted his glasses. A calm, elderly man. He began reading. My entire estate, valued at approximately $379 million, shall be transferred to my daughter. She smiled triumphantly. Then he continued. Duels under the conditions stated in Clause 14. Her smile faded slightly. Conditions? The lawyer slid a thick document across the table. Please review. She frowned. Pages turned. Her eyes moved quickly. Then slower. Then slower. Color drained from her face. What is this? The lawyer leaned back, completely relaxed. Your father was very thorough. She flipped another page, then another. Then suddenly, the lawyer laughed. A deep, uncontrollable laugh. Did you actually read the will carefully? Silence filled the room. Heavy, suffocating. My ex-wife looked up at me, confused, terrified. Why is his name here? She whispered. Her finger pointed to a section. Clause 14. I didn't answer immediately. I simply watched her. The lawyer wiped tears of laughter from his eyes, then explained gently. The inheritance legally transfers to you. A pause. But the financial authority and management rights belong to your former husband. Her breathing stopped. For 10 years, the lawyer continued, every asset, every investment, every withdrawal requires his approval. The room froze. Her boyfriend leaned forward. That's impossible. The lawyer smiled politely. Oh, it's very possible. My ex-wife stared at me. Her voice cracked. You knew? I shrugged slightly. A calm gesture. I told you not to regret it. Her hands started shaking. You tricked me. No, I said quietly. You revealed yourself. That was the difference. Traps only work on people already running toward them. Her father had known exactly what she would do. Divorce me, humiliate me, expose her greed. All perfectly predictable. And now, she owned $379 million, but couldn't touch a single dollar without me. The room felt colder. I stood up slowly, adjusted my coat, then looked at her one last time. Good luck with your freedom. Outside the building, the air felt clean, fresh, like the world had been reset. Behind me, chaos erupted. Her screaming voice echoed through the hallway. Lawyers arguing, doors slamming. But it all sounded distant. Like noise underwater, I walked down the steps calmly. 10 years. That was the old man's final move. Not revenge, education. Because real punishment isn't loss, it's proximity. She would spend the next decade watching me control the fortune she betrayed me for, signing forms, approving transactions, managing everything, while knowing exactly why. And the beautiful part? I didn't need the money. Control was enough. Closure was enough. I got into my car and started the engine. For the first time in years, my mind was quiet. No anger, no grief, just clarity. Some people believe betrayal destroys you. They're wrong. Betrayal reveals who deserves to lose. I looked once in the mirror at the building behind me, then drove away. Because the cruelest revenge isn't revenge at all. It's letting someone live with the truth they created.